All right, now we're planting a seed for the future. Later on in this course, we're going to talk about fractions, but you got to connect it here while we're talking about place value as well. So here's how I'd like you to think. Instead of using the one block as our ones, forget about that as a one. We're now going to use this as our ones. So we're going to keep track of how many of these in the ones place. And if we got 10 of these, we'd start bundle them into groups of 10. If we got 10 of those, 10 tens, we'd bundle them into hundreds. And I want you to think about what we do to the right of what we call the decimal. Deci means 10. So decimal place, when we move to the right, here's what's happening. Imagine taking this one unit and breaking it up into 10 individual parts. It would look like that. Let me rotate that guy and then make him red. All right, so this is 1. This is 1/10 of the 1. Now imagine breaking this up into 10 equal parts. Each one of those little cubes, there's 10 of them, each one of those little cubes now would be 1/10 of the 1/10, or 1/100th. That is, it would take 10 of these to make that, and then 10 of those to make that. Okay, one of those, 10 of those, let me make them red. 10 of those will make this, and 10 of those will make that. Therefore, how many of those are in there? 100. How many of those are in there? 10. So, when we move to the right of the decimal place, this is the 1/10 place, because it takes 10 of these to make that. This is the 1/100th place, because it makes 100. Oops. It makes it takes 100 of those to make a whole. And if you cut that into 10 equal parts, I don't have a thing for it, but imagine I cut that into 10 little parts. It would be the little thing here. It would take 10 of those to make that, 10 of those to make that, 10 of those to make that. That would make that the 1/1000th, because it would take 1,000 of those to make one of those. So you guys know this from place value, but that's really the thinking behind it, is taking your one unit and breaking it up into groups of, breaking it up into tens and taking one of those groups of 10. And then once you get, now here's why, once you get to 10 of these, there's not a symbol. If you had one of these, you'd have 0.1. If you had two of these, 0.2, three of these, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, you could have it. But as soon as you got to 10 of these, you would bundle them together and make a whole unit. And likewise over here, if you had one of these, like, can you imagine 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? You would just put the right number there. But as soon as you got to 10 of those, you would bundle them up and make a new column and call it the 1/10th place. And if you got to 10 of those, you would make one of those. So same idea, same way of thinking, just that now we're working into the fractional side of things. Now watch this. Do you remember how this is the 10 to the 0 because we don't have any full groups of 10 yet? And then over here we're keeping track of tens, or just single groups of 10, so 10 to the first. And then here we had 10 tens, 10 squared. So look at the pattern. And if you went to 1,000, you have 10 cubed. So 10 cubed, 10 squared, 10 to the first, 10 to the 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. Follow the pattern. Guess what this is? This would be, yikes, this would be 10 to the negative 1 power. Let me clean that up a little bit. This would be 10 to the negative 1 power. This would be 10 to the negative 2 power. This would be 10 to the negative 3 power. Now, I don't know if this connects with anything you've learned in algebra, but that's exactly right. 10 to the negative 1 power means 1 over 10, 1/10. 10 to the negative 2 power means 1 over 10 squared, which is 100. 10 to the negative 3 means 1 over 10 cubed, which is 1,000. So 1 over 1,000. And it's just because the pattern is so pleasing to say 10 to the third is 1,000, 10 squared, 10 to the first, 10 to the 0, 10 to the negative 1, 10 to the negative 2, negative 3. Absolutely. So now, you should be able to apply that way of thinking for any place value. Like back when we were doing base 5, our sonic numbers, we had 1s, 25s, 5 to the first. I'm sorry, we had 1s, 5s, 5 to the first, 25s, 5 squared, etc. Well, now you're going to have over here 5 to the negative 1, 1 over 5. 5 to the negative 2, 1 over 25. 5 to the negative 3, 1 over 125, etc. So place values to the right of the decimal place flow from the same ways of thinking. We just have to cut our whole unit up into tens for base 10, into fives for base 5, into eights for base 8, whatever the case may be. Hope that helps.